On Monday at 5:40, the third Doctor Who, portrayed by John Pertwee, appears in Part 1 of the Carnival of Monsters, first shown in 1973.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hello and welcome to I Hate Doctor Who, the story of one man's obsession and the chronicling of his friends' attempts to save him. My name is Richie Morgan, and if you haven't listened to this podcast before, what I do is I take people in my life that dislike Doctor Who or don't watch it or are unaware of it. I try to find an episode that they'll like, and then we watch it together and I explore it through their eyes. Today, I have a brand new I Hate Doctor Who virgin. His first time. I'd like to introduce you to my good friend and synthesizer player, Michael Craig.
Hello.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Good to see you. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, no, thank you. Why don't you tell the people some things about yourself?
My name is Michael, as you've heard. I'm a man. I met Richie. Through mutual friends. I did previously. I played in a band for a while called Kid Canaveral, and Richie made some videos for them before I joined and after I joined. That band no longer exists because the bass player and the keyboard player had a child. So the band disbanded. But we've kept in touch, which is nice. And it's worth noting as well, I don't actually hate Doctor Who. Just to be clear.
Don't tell him.
Oh, sorry, have I spoiled it?
No, that's fine. But yeah, no, we've known each other for quite a few years because I used to make music videos for the band that Michael was in, and a lovely band they were too. So, and we've been firm for the firmest of friends ever since.
We have. I mean, I have at various points suggested we should be best friends, but you've resisted, so that's fair. It's fine. I mean, it's sort of been awkward, so it's fine. I get it.
I think we're both awkward guys.
Don't know what you mean.
Which can be a barrier to becoming best friends.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I'd like to think I'm not awkward, but nice to have been asked to be on this. But yeah, I think I don't know. Like, obviously, you're in charge here, but to be clear, while I don't hate Doctor Who, I don't love Doctor Who. I know. Okay. I know you love Doctor Who. I think it's fine, and I think I have sort of fond memories of it from being a child, but not to any huge degree because I'm not that old. But I think when it came back with the Russell T Davies era, I've watched basically all of that, all of the way up till New Who. All of the way up till I watched like the first maybe 2 episodes of the Ncuti Gatwa series.
Right.
And then I stopped. And it wasn't him. I like him. And I even liked, I think, so the last episode I watched was the Stephen, I think it was the Stephen Moffat one with the with the mine. With
the landmine. Boom.
Yeah. Boom. That was it. And I liked that. That was good. But we just sort of then bounced off it. And I don't know, like, I think you've talked to me about this podcast before and I have listened to it. And, we have a mutual friend who loves Doctor Who. A mutual acquaintance who loves Doctor Who, Andrew Blair. And I talked to him about it a lot. He's a huge fan of the early stuff. Now, I've never really watched it and I liked the new stuff up to a point, but then it started to very much go downhill. But I continued to watch it. And I think it kind of... So just to kind of bring it back to the title of the podcast, I do think maybe I do now hate Doctor Who.
Now that you've had a chance to think about it and talk about it out loud, you realise that maybe you do hate Doctor Who.
There was a lot of good stuff since we'll probably go into this, but I think there was a lot of good stuff from when it came back up until when I stopped watching it. But there was a lot of nonsense, a lot of just poorly realised stories, very weak writing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this. I know.
You can swear on it if you want.
Because I've heard people say, I've heard people swear on this. You've talked to me about this before. And I was like, I'm not really that keen on, and I think I have used the term "the old shit." And I don't mean
Right.
that in like the old shit, like the good shit. I mean
Okay.
the old shit.
The old shit. Well,
Which
it's interesting. It is. I think it's interesting talking to someone with no skin in the game, so to speak, because obviously, as Doctor Who fans, I think we sort of chew over it quite a lot and go, well, there's this and there's that, and I quite enjoyed that about it, and really pouring through it. Whereas
Yeah.
someone like yourself is just going to watch it and go, nah,
it's
or
rubbish.
yes,
Or it's good. Exactly. You're totally right. I think that's a fair assessment. I think what I would say is I like it,
mm-hmm.
but I don't love it. I don't hate it. And therefore, I feel utterly comfortable saying that's rubbish rather than trying to trying to defend my love of it, my fandom for it. I think I would probably describe myself as someone who, I love a lot of fantasy, I love a lot of sci-fi, but when I say love, I just mean I enjoy. I very rarely got I'm not into fandoms. I don't know, that's obviously a modern term, isn't it? But I don't sort of go, I am a fan of this. I say I like this. Maybe
you don't get into something suddenly like I want to know everything about this.
No, I think maybe I lack commitment.
Right. Okay.
Maybe ask my wife. I don't know.
I mean, I could change the name of the podcast to something really long and convoluted based on the entire. I like it, but I don't hate it, but I don't particularly like it. I'm very
when they get down to it, I'm kind of.
I'm very much on the fence about Doctor Who.
But it's funny because my very first, and again, maybe this is something you were going to ask me, in which case I'll shut up. But my very first experience of Doctor Who was. When I was very young, we got given for Christmas an early William Hartnell series of it was one serial. It was an early William Hartnell Dalek one, and it was 3 VHS tapes and a box set. And I loved that at the time. They were on Scarrow, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know what it was called.
One. It must have been Daleks.
That's probably it, yeah. And I loved that at the time. I don't know, I presume that was one of the ones that wasn't destroyed. And I really loved that at the time, but I didn't know what it was. I was quite young.
Right.
Then I saw, and this is we kind of talked about the fact that I'd relatively recently listened to the Danny and the movie. That the movie was another one that I then remember loving, the Peter Cushing. I was like, but this is so different. What's this?
No, we and Danny were talking about the McGann movie. You're talking about the Dalek.
I'm talking about the Peter Cushing one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's a good bank holiday number, that one, isn't it? I feel like that was one.
Didn't listen to that episode then.
I know, I was going to say.
Cut that out. But what I would say is I loved that as well, particularly because it had Roy Castle in it, and obviously I was a fan of Record Breakers.
Right.
But it was very different from the Doctor I was familiar with. And then I was also watching the Sylvester McCoy Doctor Who when I was younger.
Okay.
That was, I presume, still on. I mean, again, I'm not old, but I think I'm kind of old.
I'm trying to figure out how old you are, because it ended in 89.
I'm 44.
Okay.
So I remember vaguely watching it, and I remember liking it. I remember liking Ace and thinking she was super cool, but I don't recall any details of it particularly.
Okay.
So I like that, and again, I think that was coming back to the fact that I had a vivid recollection of the William Hartnell series that I watched. That's the only William Hartnell I ever watched. And yeah, then it came back, and I was like, oh, I know a lot about Doctor Who from pop culture, because I'm into pop culture, but only a bit. Not to a degree I love it.
You dabble, but you're quite experienced for someone who's not that.
Absolutely, but again, experienced but lacking in commitment.
So I did send you some questions. I will go through the answers to those questions.
I like the questions, and I'm curious how your sort of internal algorithm works, deciding what episode to choose.
Well, so I asked for your top 5 films, and I understand. I know this question is just one of those questions that everyone always has to caveat it by saying, "Well, it'll be different tomorrow, and it's probably different yesterday." Your top 5 films are Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Grand Budapest Hotel, Hot Fuzz, The French Connection, and 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now that's a nice mix. You've decided to go I like this of this type of film, this of this type of film. You know?
It's almost like I curated it.
Yes.
What I would say, so like obviously I did caveat it. I don't really do lists.
No, that's fine.
I mean, again, though, I wonder if that's just my lack of commitment to nerddom. You know, I don't have lists. I'm like, oh, I have to think of this. When
this is more just to get a taster of Michael Craig.
What I was coming at it from was I rarely watch films more than once. I'll be like, oh, I've seen it, it's fine. But these are films that I have watched multiple times.
Okay.
I would watch again. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark has long been my favourite film. It's probably the film I've seen most. It's a perfect film, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Grand Budapest Hotel is a film that I have watched, since it came out about 6 times, and I think I like Wes Anderson. I could take or leave him. I love whimsy.
You know what? I was kind of falling out of love with Wes Anderson until Grand Budapest, and then I was heavily back in.
But then I feel like, did you fall out again after that? Until the Phoenician Scheme?
I haven't done any of them since.
Well, I would just skip straight to the Phoenician Scheme, frankly.
Okay.
But, there's something to be said for all of them. Anyway, whimsy, brilliant.
Okay, so TV, you've said Next Gen, The Wire, Spaced, Father Ted, and Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Which is a solid list. A solid list. Now,
thank you.
I was so it is funny. I usually try and find a connection, and there's some. It's.
I have a theory about your list, your decision, but
do you want to give me your theory? Actually, because I could say some links, but yeah, give me your theory.
Well, so obviously, having now watched the serial in question. Do we call them serials rather than episodes?
Yeah, serial, yeah.
Just to return to an earlier episode, I can't believe you tricked me into watching 3 episodes. I thought it was only going to be 1.
4? It's 4.
4, yeah, which I'm sure was the case with your lovely lady. She was tricked as well into watching 4. That sounded very. Oh, your lovely lady. Oh,
your good woman.
Your good lady wife to be. I feel like with that, so I can see sort of there's. I say thinking. So looking at it, obviously, there's an element. I've said Black Mirror in my list there, and part of the reason I like Black Mirror is because there is sort of like. And so obviously the anthology aspect is something I've always enjoyed. I really like Charlie Brooker's writing, but it's different ways of looking at the world and exploring sort of different avenues of, for one thing, entertainment, which is obviously very pertinent to this episode, this serial. I think as well there was the element of the bit with the big boulder rolling down the hill. That's Raiders of the Lost Ark. That didn't happen in this. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
No, I was like, am I forgetting? Did I forget that?
But that, and then it's kind of funny. There's a bit of going back to the Next Generation. There's some terrible costumes and shit, humanoid aliens, terrible sets, particularly the first series of the Next Gen. Then with we're looking at something like The Wire. There's some very sort of extreme politics going on in this series. Yes. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. You're coming from. Maybe weirdly off.
No. You are pretty much bang on, and I know I'm saying that now that you've said that, and I can go, yeah, no, absolutely. But no, you're right. There was a Black Mirror element to the because it's an unusual episode. I think it's quite an unusual story. I'm not saying it could be a Black Mirror, but if there's kind of a sort of sideways look at entertainment, but also. It's kind of funny. It's quite, and we're talking about whimsy with.
It's very whimsical.
You've got this sort of carnival element to it,
well, indeed.
So yeah, no, that's pretty much a bang on theory.
Okay. Can I just say, not to I really like that concept. What are things you already like? I'm going to decide a thing that you like, or you might like, from this vast catalogue of things.
Well,
I mean, it must be difficult.
It is difficult. It's difficult when you keep doing it, because obviously at the very early days you just go with it. You just banger after banger after banger, and then it's like, then you sort of force yourself to dig deep and find the and this Carnival of Monsters is one of my favourite. We're doing Carnival of Monsters, by the way. Carnival of Monsters.
Yeah,
I mean, don't. It's a good. It's one of my fave Pertwees, definitely.
Bit of fun. Oh, and actually, that's the other thing I mentioned, and this is another reason maybe why I thought you suggested this, was because I had mentioned that I do have fond memories of the repeats on a Sunday afternoon of Pertwee Doctor Who, but it was very specifically the ones I watched was when he was stranded on Earth, and I don't know why he was stranded on Earth. I just know he didn't have the TARDIS, and it took me a long time to realise it was the same Doctor Who. Instead, he had a.
Did you have Sky?
No, it was on like BBC Two, I believe.
So okay, so right, yeah, no,
It's
we're
like a
kind of on a similar. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No. I think it was in BBC Two. I don't. Was it on Sky as well? Did they repeat it?
So UK Gold used to show old episodes all the time, and it was on a Sunday morning. And
Right.
I don't like. I really, really hate to be the guy that corrects people, but do you know the BBC Two tea time slot?
Yeah.
That were just absolutely formative for anyone of a certain age.
Oh yeah, like after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it was on.
Oh, was it? I remember it being.
Yeah.
Do you know, I did wonder about that, but like, because there was the Sunday morning Channel 4 stuff, like Land of the Giants and things, and I kind of
Yes.
I was maybe putting it in with that, but that's like, I've never watched it anywhere else, and I remember, what was his yellow car? Like, it is yellow.
Bessie.
Bessie. I was thinking it was Betsy, but I knew it was something like that.
Yes.
And I quite like that, and I'm familiar with, obviously, that terrible lady and the recent ones, Kate Lethbridge Stewart. Her dad was the guy in that, wasn't he?
The terrible lady.
She's so, like, the actress is not good. And she's not even a good character, so it's not necessarily her fault. But Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, I remember him being very, very impressive as a character. But I don't remember much beyond that. And I remember thinking, and this is kind of something that I was reminded of while watching this, how absolutely pimp John Pertwee's Doctor is. He's a total badass.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I think so he died 30 years ago this year.
Really?
It's the 30th anniversary of Pertwee's death. I don't know if you would call it an anniversary or... yeah, it is an anniversary.
Yeah.
We're not celebrating. We're not like, hey, mind that.
Woo! That's why we watched it, eh?
So I was sort of thinking about him kind of recently, and but I've talked at great length with a few people about how he's sort of the unofficial Doctor of the 90s.
Okay.
Because you're right, he was getting the repeats, but he was doing the public appearances. Like, he was on Surprise, Surprise, and he was the one that turned up in Noel's house party. It was all that. It just seemed to be him. He seemed to be a good, like, the face for it at that point, up until 96, obviously, when...
The very wrinkly face for it.
Yeah.
The craggy, sort of beautifully haired face for it.
Who are you? I am the Doctor. Oh, I don't watch GMTV.
I tend not to revisit things from the olden days,
Okay.
Mainly because there's a lot of stuff that I don't watch now, and it's sort of, I don't have the time to go back to the past. And again, just, I've never really thought of myself as someone who, like, feels the need to, even if I like something, I don't need to, without
to keep going back to it.
Yeah, we're not wanting to flog a dead horse. It's just never really been in my thing. I've never, so I wouldn't describe myself as is it a Whovian?
That's a reasonable thing to say, yeah. It's not a word I would use, but yeah.
But I'm never sure because it's like, Trekkies don't like Trekkers. No, was it Trekkers?
Trekkies. I would fall inside of Trekkies, I think.
Trekkies, and Trekkies don't like to be called Trekkers, and I imagine Whovians don't like to be called Whoers.
No.
Sorry, I just wanted to make that joke. Carry on.
No. I did. I forgot. I asked you more questions,
did?
and I said, "What did I ask you?" I said, "Is there a Doctor or Doctors you think you like?" And then you proceeded to list all of the new ones.
Not all of them.
No. Sorry, you said
Crucially,
Matt Smith. Matt Smith is your favourite modern Doctor.
I think so. Yeah, I think just because he really sort of captured a charm, a silliness, but also a seriousness. I think he's a good actor. I think he might be maybe a bit. I don't know what he's like as a person, and I've seen him in other things since that. Apart from Morbius, I've enjoyed him in other things. In fact, I enjoyed him in Morbius. Let's be honest.
I think it was Stephen Moffat that described him as an elegant shambles, which I thought was a great description. He's got that perfect disarming characteristic where he's very silly, and then suddenly he's like,
and he's got that big
serious.
doughy face.
Yeah. He's got a good alien quality. Matt Smith is just extremely doctorish, basically.
You've nailed it there. He does have that alien quality. He just very convincingly didn't seem, despite clearly being humanoid, he did really sort of project kind of otherworldliness. And I think that is partly just down to, I think the writing, like that, like as I think I said, part of the reason that Matt Smith is my favourite Doctor is because I think, say what you will about Stephen Moffat, I think he maybe fell off towards the end. Again, this is my opinion. But that first series with him and Amy Pond, with the cracks in the universe.
It was a strong launch.
And there was some amazing moments like the bit where Amy had her eyes closed and she was talking to the Doctor, but it wasn't the Doctor, it was a future Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, and when that was call back, I was like, call back. And that kind of stuff was clever, but without just being clever for clever's sake. It made sense and it was interesting. And I think he then got a bit too complicated with all of this stuff about River Song and all of the Amy Pond being her, or her being the daughter and the baby being. I don't know. I lost a bit of interest, but I still liked Matt Smith, and I found his. But then also, just to slightly ruin things, I thought his death and regeneration was absolutely, like, I know people are fond of this and I know people are very upset by it, but I just thought it went on too long.
It did go on a bit.
The aesthetics were bollocks. He looked like a fucking ball sack. It was terrible. And it was just like, it was Christmas as well? I don't know. I barely remember. It was just too silly. And I just feel like it kind of got very far away from why I enjoyed him. It was sort of back to basics when he came in after the sort of, I'd like David Tennant, just to be clear. I know that loads of people love David Tennant. He wasn't on my list of Doctors. Because I kind of think, I don't know, he became too much, and I think I was slightly annoyed from the very beginning when he went, "Hello," and I was like, he's not a Cockney. It's turning into, I don't know.
David Tennant is definitely one of those ones. I love him.
I also love him.
I do love him, and you love him too. But if someone said to me, "I don't like David Tennant," then I'm not going to be like, "What?"
I think that there was like the moments where he'd be like, "Oh, I'm having so much fun, Alonzi," and then he'd be like, "I have seen people die, so I've seen galaxies burn," and he'd stare off into the middle distance while looking serious. And it's just like, no, it's too. I don't know, and I don't blame David Tennant. I mean, arguably, I blame the writing, but I think what New Who did really well to an extent. To begin with, was it did a good balance between silliness and seriousness, and then I think it just sort of got. I think maybe the writers started getting, and I say the writers, maybe like without being too up on it, it kind of feels like the showrunners occasionally maybe started getting a bit too high on their own supply and thought, "This is great, this is grand, epic opera we're telling here. This is storytelling of an epic degree." And it just got silly. Like
it's funny. I was thinking about that with this story that we're about to talk about, and just how the stakes are high enough, but it's not.
It's not though, is it?
And I asked you if you were a doctor, Uh,
Oh, yeah.
what would your costume be?
I mean, initially I was thinking I would probably just wear my normal clothes.
That's it. Rose, your wife, said if I was the Doctor, I would probably just wear my normal clothes. Now, for the people who don't know you, Michael is a man of many great jumpers. So, I'm not opposed to it.
Well, that was part of what I was thinking of. But what Rose then suggested was that under my outfit, my normal clothes, I could be wearing a sexy brand pants. Because
we never see, but it's just a bit of added extra lore.
Yeah, it's lore, but it's not even, it's like headcanon, I suppose.
Yeah.
No one would ever know. It wouldn't even be, it would never be mentioned.
It's like how supposedly Capaldi wears underwear.
Does he? Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Well, it's just a line in there, yeah.
Just to be clear, not to be clear, but just to return to the favourite Doctor, I thought Peter Capaldi was brilliant, and I love Peter Capaldi, and I thought he was an excellent Doctor. He epitomised what I imagined a Doctor would be, but again, I just didn't think he had a lot of great material.
Okay, I'm not going to get into this, but yeah. Okay.
Do you disagree?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that era as well, though.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not. Yeah, that's not what we're here for. But I still watched it all and I enjoyed it. And at no point in that did I go, I'm going to stop.
But also, that's fair. That's fair. You also said I'd like to dress like a man from the future, as envisaged in the 50s. Bit of retrofuturism, well, like a guy from In Planet or something.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I was kind of thinking that they've never really done that. He's always dressed like someone either from the past or the present, or just a bit wacky from a period in human history. Whereas, why does he do that? He's been everywhere. I mean, I guess a lot of it's to fit in, but he never fits in, does he? Let's be honest. But from that, I kind of thought about why not, if I'm going to be wearing like a kind of silver jumpsuit, why not make it like a casual, relaxing sort of tracksuit?
Just a big reflective tracksuit.
Well, yeah, because it kind of feels like, I don't know if anyone's really done like the Doctor in leisure wear.
I like the idea that when it's time for action, the zip comes up.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. But,
it's like the music swells and the zip comes up, but it comes up really fast.
But equally, I was envisioning a Doctor who's given up. He's just like, I can't be bothered. I'm too tired. You go and start it.
Just wear comfies.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's
leisure wearing a big pair of Crocs.
Oh my god! I mean, I don't wear Crocs, but sometimes I feel like I should wear Crocs.
Hey, Vogue.
Well. We're getting a crowd. Better start the pitch.
Here?
There's no point in wasting any time. Roll up and see the monster show. Roll up and see the monster show, a carnival of monsters, all living in their natural habitat, wild in this little box of mine. A miracle of intergalactic technology. Roll up, roll.
Carnival of Monsters is the second serial of season 10 of Doctor Who. It aired between the 27th of January to the 17th of February, 1973. Where were you in 1973, Michael?
Where was I in 1973?
Just floating about the ether as atoms.
Monte Carlo?
It was written by Robert Holmes and it was directed by Barry Letts. And it features the third Doctor, John Pertwee.
Love those guys.
So, what were your expectations going into this?
So,
when I suggested this to you, the opening seconds are coming on. What's happening?
Well, the first thing I thought was, what on earth? It doesn't even fill the screen. Because it's been so long since I've seen something in 4x3.
Oh my God. Michael, our lives are so different.
I mean, the thing is, the occasional, so I watch films sometimes and go, they're playing with aspect ratios, that's fun. Mm-hmm. But it's been a long time since I've sat down and purposely watched something from the olden days. Now, with that said, my next thought was, oh yeah, classic Doctor Who titles.
Oh yeah.
And as you've mentioned, I am a synthesizer fan.
Of course.
And I have watched many videos, many documentaries about the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. And the like obviously from the early days when it was Delia Derbyshire and that lot doing things with like oscillators and building the sound from the ground up to
incredible.
the 70s when they were using actual synthesizers. Can't remember the guy's name now though. Roger blah blah blah. I can't remember his name.
Roger blah blah blah.
Maybe. But the guy who was in charge then, I watched a video of him doing it with like synthesizers at the time, and it's a classic song. Doctor Who. It's a classic. That's a different song. It's a classic soundtrack. It's a classic intro tune. And those sort of kind of just the really unimpressive light show that happens is so iconic, and it isn't. It probably wasn't unimpressive at the time. It's cool, but the soundtrack, it just takes you to another place, and it really did. I found it quite affecting, so after like I got used to the fact that it's only a square. I was like, this is Doctor Who, and I think that's something again. You know, I don't want to return to New Who, but it did make me go, yeah, there's no orchestras here. This is all just weird otherworldly noises. It's synthesizers making the soundtrack, and this is what I want the Doctor Who theme tune to sound like, and it really got me in the mood straight away.
So firing into the episode, we're very much in the 1970s. It's very much the BBC.
So.
Sets, acting style, like just
Incredible.
all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
what was happening to you there?
Well, frankly, when it first started, you know, you've seen this. The opening shot is astonishing. It's very clearly an alien world, you can tell. It's so alien. A big conveyor belt with big silver parcels coming out of it.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, look at these. I bet someone had a great time making those props.
Wrapping those boxes.
Absolutely. Amazing futuristic parcels, but the main thing that stuck out was the incredible hairpieces, the bald caps.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like, and we'll get into these guys later, but the horrible melty face guys.
Yes.
I believe I found out later the functionaries.
The functionaries. So we're set on a planet called Interminor.
Indeed.
And Interminor has two sort of classes of citizen. And you've got the functionaries, and then you've got what the other one's called? Officials? I
think they were like, so there's, I don't remember them being referred to as anything other than the tribunal.
Oh, yeah. So
the three guys were like the tribunal, or is everyone above the functionaries tribunal? I don't know. I might have missed something, but
I'm on the wiki, and it's officials.
The officials.
So it's basically, you've got these sort of dumb kind of worker types.
Incredible ideas. Where did they get these ideas from?
Well, it sets. One thing I love about it is it sets the scene so quickly.
Absolutely.
And, the first episode is like, there's so many different things going on in that first episode.
Absolutely.
And it isn't necessarily clear how all those things are connected.
It's really not.
Which is great. But another thing I like, it's so funny at the start of our recording here, you mentioned like crap sets, and I was like, oh fuck, I really loved the sets in this episode.
oh, did you?
But there's a great I think, I don't know how many times it's used, but there's a great like forced perspective. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Do you know when you have like a model in front of the camera,
and it looks
to extend
absolutely.
the set, and there's loads of these tricks going on. Sort
of like the sort of silver arches from afar. And it kind of looks like. I mean, I don't. Have you seen Ben Wheatley's not his most recent film, because that's the one with Bob Odenkirk. But have you seen Bulk by Ben Wheatley?
I haven't seen Bulk, but
it's
I'm
bananas.
aware of it, yeah. Right.
But like all of the special effects are sort of done by him and like a few people. I mean, you got but they're special effects people, but they did them really on the cheap, and it's like Airfix models and terrible forced perspective, and it looks really silly, but also it's on purpose and it's fun. That just reminded me of that.
Selling it to me. You're really selling it to me.
Like it's very, like, I would also say I really enjoyed it, but it's incredibly pretentious and up its own bum. But I love Ben Wheatley, and I gave him a lot of time. And the two lead performances are amazing, like Sam Riley, and I feel like I can't remember his wife's name now. His wife, which sounds again very reductive. Anyway, they're the two leads. They're brilliant in it. And Noah Taylor, recommend it. But the forced perspective in that very much reminded me of this. And you know what? It probably looked amazing at the time, but what I would say is, it's good that you liked it, because we're going to be seeing that bit of set a lot. And, you know, that's fine. A majestic alien world, and we see, like, the place where the conveyor belt drops off for the 4 episodes. That's it. That's all we see. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, wait, why are they just hanging around here? Where else? Where could they go? Why are they not going to? There is maybe a little bit of an explanation about that later, actually, which I did appreciate. But
Right.
I think, you know, I again, it's worth sort of stressing. I have in my notes here, I have said brilliant special effects, excellent sets. Now, obviously, I've said shit. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know I've said the old shit.
I know.
You know,
Listen, hey, nobody's going to be really pulling you up on it, because obviously it's just one of those things that we say, especially about old telly.
I mean, I think it looks shit, but I love it.
Right. Okay. No. I know what you mean. I think it's especially like old BBC productions, especially like Doctor Who, is because the speed that it was being shot. It was, generally speaking, you would have a few sets, and they would be standing for the whole production, and you would just be moving back and forth between each set, sometimes in one studio, and then you would have throw in the location stuff that you kind of did on top of that. So
there's a few points in this episode, or these episodes, where that's obvious that they're not, like, you know, there's some continuity errors, Richie. I don't know if you noticed them, but I think what I like about it is, you know, as you say, it's clearly very much within the restrictions of the budget, and like and you know, the thing is, at the time, I bet people were just like, this is cool. Nowadays, I'm looking at it and going, oh no!
And that's absolutely fair. It's you're coming at it from a modern.
Well, that's it. That's my modern head going, oh no! But my rational head's going, but that's what they had to work with, and they've done very well.
I know. I mean, the last
patronising.
I know. I was going to say the last thing you want to say about anything to make it sound good is like, they did their best.
But you know,
no, I think it's interesting having absolute control of your production means building your sets, and it's a thing. I feel like it's a thing that came back in New Who. I feel like in the Shooty Gatwa stuff, you would get a lot of like, we've built this big incredible set for this episode, so we're going to be in this location quite a lot, and it feels like, God, we're back.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And, you know, I think, so one of the things, and maybe, like, I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but is this sort of the time where they would basically shoot on, like, one camera, they move about, and then they were they weren't that precious about mistakes, so there's a few flubbed lines.
Well,
I know that was very prevalent back in the old days.
In the 60s, it was very prevalent. Well, it would be the studio stuff would be multi-camera. But it's been shot like the same way you would shoot like a game show. It's like, there's guys in the gallery, and they've got like a day,
and they're vision mixing on
they're vision mixing. But the thing that's also amazing about all that is like all your visual effects are happening live.
You don't say.
So like all the vision mixing, you're sorry, I didn't even pick up your sarcasm there.
No. It's I'm just thinking when later on when he shoots the laser thing. I'm like,
yeah. No, all that stuff is happening like using vision mixers and stuff like that. But I think, I mean,
it really holds up though.
I think it takes a certain type of appreciation.
No, absolutely,
and obviously, especially being yourself someone who doesn't watch a lot of old telly, sort of shifting back into that mode. You do. I think there's like, you know, I think like they always say that Doctor Who fans, quite a lot of Doctor Who fans go off into like creative careers. I think my friend Mark, who does
yourself,
my friend Mark, who does On the Time Lash, which is another podcast. He's talked about this before, about how like Star Trek. He may have got this from someone else, I don't know, but Star Trek fans often go off into like scientific pursuits, whereas Doctor Who fans go off into these sort of, a lot of them so many of them end up working or try to work in production, or they get like creative jobs and things like that. And it's because
that makes sense.
I think like not that a show like Star Trek doesn't have creativity in its production, but I feel like Doctor Who is way more noticeable. It brings it to the forefront a little bit more, because you're seeing and you're thinking maybe I don't know, maybe you're thinking about how it's done.
There's some definite examples of in this serial of them just making do, and I think that's charming, and I can totally see it because like it's funny because I was talking about on the way out on the school run today, bringing my daughter back from school. She is 8. She's currently very into reading science fiction and fantasy, and she was talking about, I really like science fiction because you can imagine new technology and new worlds, and then you can talk about them, and you can talk about like imagine things that don't exist in the real world and make it interesting. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And it was made me think of this.
She's absolutely bang on to something there, because it's something I think about a lot about the about how for something to engage with you, it needs to leave space for your own imagination. Absolutely. Because otherwise you're just being fed the entire thing. And I think that's why Doctor Who is allergic to higher budgets and almost in a way, because I think when it's like, you know, it's why reading a book is such a potent thing. It's, you know, why so many, because once there's a space left for your own head to fill in the blanks or to do, it becomes the attachment becomes so much deeper.
But she loves sort of science fiction and fantasy TV for that same reason. Even if it's being presented, she just likes the idea of new ideas. And I think that is something that Doctor Who has always had in spades. And this is a really this serial is bonkers. There's a lot going on, as we've said, and I think there's a lot of interesting ideas. And I think, you know, again, I've not watched much old Doctor Who, and what I have watched, I don't remember it. And I think it's quite interesting because obviously I'm watching this and going, you know, that's a bit like, maybe is that a trope? But is it a trope if they did it first? I don't know if they did it first.
Yeah,
you know, and it's kind of, they must have done so many interesting ideas, not necessarily first, but their own spin on them on TV first. You know, like I've already said, where did they get the idea of the functionaries and the officials? I mean, clearly,
it's a very on the nose.
Clearly, someone's read Brave New World, for example. I don't know, many things, but like it's an interesting, you know, it's set up for what is a quite offbeat story involving the Doctor otherwise, you know, and that's sort of secondary to what's going on with the Doctor to an extent, but it's not like quite interesting because, you know, nowadays there's very sort of strict delineation between the A plot and the B plot, but in this they're both treated very importantly, you know.
Yeah. And that opening, those opening moments establish so much very quickly. And I think sometimes it's like, you know, it's 1973, you have a minute to establish where you are. You're watching on a tiny television, so sometimes you're right, sometimes these things just have to be a bit more in your face than but yeah, no, it establishes that planet very quickly as to who they are. I love that they're grey.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of the neutral aliens in Futurama.
Oh yes, yeah.
Do you know, a bit like that? Although those guys aren't devious, but these guys are really kind of like slimy and devious, like very bureaucratic.
Well, yeah, the officials are, and then there's the functionaries are hideous, and I'm trying to remember what they remind me of with their lumpy faces.
Yeah, just a bit kind of. Oh yeah.
Do you know that guy from the RoboCop TV series? What's his name?
The RoboCop TV series.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now. I'll have to Google it. But
this is probably why you don't have to watch things again, because you clearly have a very good memory.
I can't remember the guy's name. He was like the crime boss. What was his name? And he was played by like, what's his face? Walton. Anyway, well, I'll come back to that.
I am going to Google it right now. RoboCop
TV series. He was like, he had a sort of
boss,
lumpy face. He was like played by quite a famous actor. Something Face.
William Ray Pudface Morgan.
Pudface Morgan, that's it. Who played him?
Disfigured street criminal. Oh God! Hold on.
Find a photo of him.
Name. I'm just about to do that.
It just came to me there because I was looking at.
Right. Okay. Yep. Oh yeah.
That's who I was thinking of every time I was while I was watching this, but it didn't occur to me until I saw your surname. Sorry, Richie.
No, it's okay.
Like him. But Pudface Morgan. That sort of hideous, sort of melty, lumpy face thing. But obviously, he's a crime boss, so he's pretty badass. Whereas these guys are like, oh, tugging my, probably not forelock, but my flaky skin.
Yeah.
But I think it really sets that dynamic up very quickly and very well, because it has to,
In what way does this machine amuse?
Your worship, allow me to demonstrate. If you will watch the glow sphere.
What is this?
These creatures are Telurians, a species discovered in a distant galaxy. Scientists have been amazed at the remarkable similarity between these little chaps and our own dominant life form.
The resemblance is unpleasant.
These are the only Telurians in captivity.
And then the Vorg and Shirna show up.
Love
a couple
guys.
of entertainers.
You can
the
tell.
Costumes immediately. Every time Vorg's jacket just makes me think of polos.
It really made me think of, and it's not something I've watched for a long time.
It made me long for fruit polos.
It made me think of the Hitcher from the Bush, Mighty Bush.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're like polos and that. But yeah, it was also every time I saw him, I was like, is that a plastic bowler hat, or has he just got a mixing ball on his head?
Oh, because it's I did like his transparent bowler hat.
I mean, I love it. In the future, things are transparent. Oh, yeah. But,
there was a lot of good stuff going on with plastic in the 70s.
Oh yeah, I think their introduction as it felt quite interesting because it's like, who are these people? What's this about?
Yeah.
Why are they dressed like that? So that's what you want.
Yeah.
But also, what other questions? Even towards the end, I mean, I understand what the questions are about, but it felt very odd even to the end. But that's fine. They're aliens. It's cool. They're from the planet Lorman, or they are Lormans from Lorma. I don't know.
Oh, I've already forgotten.
That's okay.
But it's not important. It's not.
They were Lormans. That's
Lormans.
all we need to know. Shurna and Vorg.
But yeah, it was very much an immediate okay, these are traveling entertainers.
Absolutely. Strong setup.
And they have a little what would be the right term for it? Like a little terrarium, a little video box, but inside it is full of creatures and monsters, and it's.
Well, I think you'll find the right term as a miniscope.
Sorry, that's what it is in the episode. I was trying to think of what you.
At one point, so the Doctor, if you recall, the Doctor describes it as he describes it as like an ant farm.
Yes. Yes, he does.
So you're right. It's like it is, but it's like a terrarium. It's something like that. It's like they are traveling entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
They appear to travel the galaxy, selling. I don't know. I presume selling for, was it cred cards? I can't remember the
credit sticks.
Credit, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are traveling the galaxy, letting people have a look, having a little swatch at their ant farm terrarium full of interesting characters from throughout the galaxy on a terrible screen, which we'll probably talk about later. But it's quite an interesting concept at this point. And I think, we don't know that that's what's going to happen. We just know that they're there to try and sell their wares to new people.
Yeah, they're just intergalactic buskers, basically.
And I think what's quite interesting is I still don't really understand why they come out of a parcel delivery shoot, because they talk as if they've been invited. And then the officials from the tribunal turn up and they're like, oh no. And they seem like, we've been invited, but maybe they haven't been. I think they maybe are just chancing it and pretending.
They're just chancers, yeah. And it's, it's good. It's great that it's just a great, we've got the parcel delivery and then they stumble out with the parcels, just establishing that they're traveling extremely rough.
Absolutely. I like that. And then, I'll be honest, I think that they are, they're one of the most charming things about these episodes. I recognise the Vorg from something, but I had a look on IMDb and I don't know exactly what.
I mean, I never watched Heidi High, but he was in Heidi High.
Well, that's the thing. I did watch Heidi High, but I don't. Again, it's one of those things I watched with when my mum and dad when I was young, and I don't.
Yeah, I can't imagine at any point in the last 30 years you've been like, I think I might stick some Heidi High on.
Oh yeah, Mr. Partridge. Anyway, I think what I liked about that was they get into that, they introduce these people are like, what's this? Where's the Doctor? And then immediately, I can't do the sound. I can't do the sound. The TARDIS appears. You know, it's classic. That effect has not changed. The TARDIS materializing, the sound has not changed. And
and we're on like
wonderful.
a boat in India. It's like the scene change is so extreme. It's
absolutely.
so extreme.
Because while this is another set, it is a set that is easier to portray because it's a boat.
Yeah.
And you're like, jarring. But what I found quite funny about this is, like, obviously, Joe pretty much immediately is like, we're on a boat, Doctor. She didn't say that, but the Doctor's like, where are we? And, you know, it's kind of like, my notes here are, isn't the Doctor a genius? Why does it take him so long to realise he's on an Earth ship?
Do you know what? I've got this written down, and it's something that I quite like about Pertwee, is that he's obviously still, the Doctor he plays is incredible, but he's also fallible. And he's fallible, but he's also very proud and is bad at admitting when he's wrong. But so just to give you a bit of context for this episode as well, he's just got his TARDIS back.
Is this after
this is after his exile on Earth,
right,
and this is like he's just helped the Time Lords with something, and they've been like, you know what, here's your TARDIS back, and so there's a running gag in the series that he's trying to get to a planet called Metabolus 3.
Yes, he talks about that.
So that's what's happening here, and so he's not willing to admit that he can't point the TARDIS in the right direction.
Well, I did wonder, because he does. I definitely programmed it. Is it the case that the TARDIS just isn't listening to him, or?
Well, there's always just been a thing with the TARDIS.
Well, yeah, it's got its mind of its own.
Yeah.
Like in the Doctor's wife.
Yep, there you go.
Anyway,
but so we're in it's a very
well. Immediately, I was like, oh no, but that says. I can't remember. It said like a country or a city on Earth, but clearly it was Earth. And he spends so much time on Earth, you're thinking no. But anyway, I loved the bit where he's like, Joe's like, oh, chickens. He's like, well, they look like chickens, but who knows? And you're absolutely right. It's sort of like he can kind of, like, John Pertwee is very good. You can see he's sort of already going, yeah, it's probably Earth. But he's like, no, definitely not. And he still maintains that he's not made an error.
Yeah.
Although obviously it turns out he has made an error, even beyond the being inside a tiny device, which we'll get to. I think the fact that he is very much initially like, where are we? Oh, this is, you know, and then Joe. I don't really know Joe's deal, but Joe seems pretty clued up. She seems smart. She's very quick to go, Doctor, and you know she knows what's going on before he does. And I really like that. Because, and my notes also say, he's probably right, though. Are they inside the machine that they're talking about? So it's kind of, maybe because I was expecting it from the title, Carnival of Monsters, I was like, I've noted, Vorg had said it would show monsters in their natural habitat. And suddenly there's something wrong with it. So I was kind of thinking, maybe I called it a bit too early, but I kind of was like, clearly that's what's happened. And, you know, it's not
fine. You're probably you're sitting there going, how does this all link together?
Well, exactly. It's the sort of, as you've said, it's the big switch to that. They must be connected. So obviously I was like, oh, that's what it is. But I've also noticed here, and we kind of touched on this already, the Doctor's pinky ring, his cape, his velvet cravat.
Oh, yeah.
What a do.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, when before the Shooty Gatwa era started, a real Freudian slip there calling it an error. Before the Shooty Gatwa era started, he was like, when he was doing his research, he was saying that Pertwee was his favourite because Pertwee was
He's got style.
Was a slut.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I used the word earlier, and me and Rose were watching this together, and we both were like, he's totally pimp.
He's very good. I think the things that I think there's a good sense of humour in this period of Doctor Who, and I think Pertwee's a big part of that.
Absolutely.
And this is pre-Tom Baker, which obviously Tom Baker kind of goes way off.
Well, I know I'm aware of that, but I've never really watched any Tom Baker, which is probably if I wanted to be a Doctor Who fan, I would probably make a point of doing that. A real Doctor Who fan.
I mean, I could give you some recommendations, but yeah.
Well, maybe I'll come back to you after this.
Okay. Okay.
What I would say though as well, you're absolutely right. I think he really carries it because he's got such lovely twinkly eyes. It's
He does.
For
He
real,
does.
though,
He's got a presence, and
he really does.
it's
He's
very
got-
unique. It's very him. Yeah.
Thing is, I kind of like, so my main knowledge of John Pertwee, and part of, obviously I watched a bit of this and didn't really watch it avidly. I watched a bit of the stuff when it was Exiled on Earth, as I say, but my main knowledge of John Pertwee is Wurzel Gummidge, which was absolutely, I loved it, but I was terrified of it as well. Not because of him, because again he has like lovely twinkly eyes, and he was a nice scarecrow. I can't remember what he talked like, but he talked basically like John Pertwee because he's got a funny voice anyway.
Yeah.
But I think again, twinkly eyes, even though he was a terrifying anthropomorphized scarecrow come to life, he carried it off because he's got twinkly eyes and seemed nice. And I think again, like the thing about the Doctor is, he does this sort of like, and what I liked about this is he doesn't have the same edge that later Doctors that I'm familiar with try to portray. It's more just about, I'm just a lovely, lovable guy fanning about the universe.
Yeah, new Doctor Who is very much like the lonely god. Or all that sort of
Fuck
stuff,
that
very
noise.
grand. Whereas Pertwee is just
an affable uncle.
He does. Who sort of inspires confidence in you. Like there's all those Doctor traits are still there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, the personality, and like I said, he plays it very. I don't know if straight is the word I would use to say how he plays the Doctor. But there's an undercurrent. The humor isn't too in your face, but
absolutely.
he's very, and he's always happy to do a funny face or a silly voice.
He really is. I think that's the thing. That's like it's the sort of like he's not. It's not like nudge, nudge, wink, wink. He's definitely a fine actor.
Mm-hmm.
But he, again, you know what? Just a little sort of twinkle of his eye. He can make his eyes twinkle on command. It just makes you go. And I think just like I really liked his interactions with Joe, because a lot of the time, like I find, I mean, again, I don't want to keep coming back to the new Doctor, but one of the things I liked about this was the relationship between them was just, it was very much like either an uncle and his niece or a teacher and his pupil. There was nothing sort of, it was just like, he was clearly the authority figure, but equally he was open to listening to her. They have an affection between them. They care about each other, and it was nothing funny, just and I think that was very sweet. And I again haven't ever seen her before. I liked the actress, and I think she had something about her in terms of she wasn't just beholden to him, and I liked that. And I think when they kind of sneak up onto the deck and they're kind of hiding in the Major's like bedroom.
What's so funny is they're hiding behind that table, and Pertwee's hair you're not hiding that at all. It's just sticking up over there.
It's too beautiful and buffon. Absolutely. But to be fair, I think the Major is very tired.
Yes.
But I love the fact that they pop out and and then they have that chat. But then the dinosaur appears.
Yes, the plesiosaur.
Yeah, and but my favourite bit is what the juice is it? And I kind of I just thought, is that an appropriate reaction? I mean, I love the stoicism. It's like I would be terrified.
There was a lot of that. He was a good character, a good sort of side character.
Andrews,
not given a lot of using the word bally a lot. What the bally well is going on?
Absolutely.
But I also like another good thing about Pertwee is he's the only Doctor I think. Maybe you could slip it in with Capaldi, but he's the only Doctor I think you would get into a fist fight.
Absolutely.
With Queensberry rules.
I love that bit. And I think that is one of the things that I really was like, oh my God, the Doctor fighting. In fact, that's episode 2, isn't it? But
It was episode 2, yeah.
But it's not far on. But like, I wondered about that because like, there's no crap sound effects, and I think
it's the funny thing
I heard you talk about this before.
Yeah,
they didn't do like sound effects and post.
No,
it was all in situ.
So all the punches are like just silent. Ooh.
But see his the extension. Oh, incredible! Like his arms were just. Obviously this is camera, but yeah, I think I think that, again, you're absolutely right. I think I could see Capaldi challenging someone to fisticuffs, but like Pertwee was incredible. I mean, the thing about like these characters on the ship, like what I kind of liked about this was, again, like, this is at the time it made me feel like, oh, I'm dead clever, but it was in retrospect obviously very spelled out, the fact that it was clearly people were stolen by the Lurmans. There
was kind of the time loop aspect
that's
of
it
it as
I was
well,
like,
which was
time loop.
Yeah, I know.
They've clearly been frozen in like an hour. Oh wait, because the doctor's like, the SS Bernice. Maybe he'll explain that at some point. And then obviously it's all very spelled out, but it made me feel clever when I figured it out. Oh, these are people in the miniscope. He has a miniscope. I was right. I'm so clever.
Also, and then you've got the cliffhanger for episode 1 is incredible. That visual is
great hand.
Oh my god, it's phenomenal. It's such a simple effect, but the giant hand coming in and grabbing the TARDIS is.
Well, what I've noted here. You go ahead. No, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you would absolutely shite yourself. Absolutely.
Well, what I've noted is giant hand or tiny TARDIS, because we don't know at that point. But we kind of suspect. But what I kind of found, one of the things that kind of made me think at the end of that episode was, I was like, so I'm pretty sure, and again, this is sort of a thing that makes me sort of think maybe they did it first. There's definitely a trope of alien races collecting other species to put on show. I feel like there was an episode of Star Trek, the original series.
There's definitely going to be a B movie that's. But I mean, there's a great we'll call it a great tradition in Doctor Who, where they'll be lifting ideas from films.
Well, the thing about it is, the reason it's used a lot is because it's a great idea. So
yes,
it's a rich seam to mine.
My thing, I guess it's such a funny thing, but Doctor Who is such a unique show in the sense that, like, it is being carried by this one character pretty much most of the time. And so you kind of forgive when it's like, we're doing an episode and it's very like this film that you've seen before. But it's like, imagine that film, but the Doctor was there dealing with it. And I think it engages something in you that goes, yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. No, I get it. And
rather than just being like, they've stolen that idea, you're like, oh yeah, I'd love to see how the Doctor deals with that situation.
Do you know as well what I really like about what you've just said? One character, but he's like been 13 different people.
Well, this is it.
That is I think that is the masterstroke of Doctor Who. I'm sure I'm the first person to say that. Like that idea that it's the same character, but they're not the same. They are, but they've carte blanche to be a bit different each time. Perfect. I just like that is such a wonderful level of continuity, but also excuse to not be totally continuity conscious. Like, I love it. And I think, it's particularly good when you have bi-generation and is that what it's called? I hate that. That was rubbish to read. Anyway. But I know what you mean. TARDIS.
I think the regeneration thing is fun. I think the thing that's fun about the regeneration is that it's right there at the start. It's the way they dealt with it at the start. And the idea was so good that they've just been like, yeah, this is how we do it. And this is the continuity.
This is just how these guys work.
Like, I like to give New Who credit, but where it's due. But I genuinely don't feel like a modern TV show would get away with doing that.
No. maybe unless there's been a precedent set.
I might be talking shite. But I just feel like, we're recasting the main character. What?
Yeah. What was I was watching the other day? And they were talking about, it's going to be a very vague, not even anecdote, a recollection of a thing. But there's a thing. So we're talking about how, like, me and Rose were watching Gen V. I don't know if you watch Gen V, it's fine. Sort of from the universe of The Boys. But, like, one of the main characters, Chance Perdomo, the actor who played him, seemed like a good man. Love the chap, probably. He died sort of between series, and they obviously didn't recast him and I was talking about this something, like, nowadays it feels like they don't recast characters. But if you remember, that was never a problem back in, like, when I was young. Like, Roseanne knew Becky. Like, no one cared. And, like, I think there's definitely been a lot of examples of that, but I don't recall any examples of that in recent years. But I just think the Doctor Who just, like, I don't know what led to the decision. I don't know if they've ever really explained it.
Oh, basically the show had to keep going, but the lead actor was too unwell to continue.
Because he was 1,000 years old. And I think they've came up with a very neat idea. And then obviously remember that if they had to, because they recast him with Patrick Troughton, who was also pretty old at that point. He probably wasn't going to want to do it forever, was he?
He wasn't
really
old. I don't think he wasn't that old.
He looks old.
He's just that way that people in the 60s looked.
He's just had a hard life. He's dishevelled.
Smoked 100 fags a day and drank 50 pints. And so they looked about 50 at the age of 30.
I feel like when they realised that, I think at some point someone else realised this is gold, let's run with it. And I think that's one of the things, again, this is something I was talking about with Ada earlier, my child, about something that she's sort of come to me. She's a genius, just to be clear.
Okay.
Something that she's come to us with, like, come to me about recently. She's going, I just really love exploring the lore. And I was like, what? But basically, she's saying, she knows what the term means. She's like, I just like how there's all these different ideas sort of developing as things go on, and it's all part of the. And I talked to her about world building previously. She's like, it's all part of the world building. All right. But I think one of the things about Doctor Who, clearly they have, they've obviously, like a lot of things, they've developed the lore as they've gone along. And I think that's absolutely fine. But then it does come to a point where it gets very complicated because people just keep adding stuff on.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, at this point, that's not an issue because he's the third Doctor. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, no, I think it's a very... There are certain things that don't change within it. But at that point, you're right. It was like continuity was way less of a thing then as well, because you were watching an episode and then you were never seeing it again.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
like it was, and so
you're lucky if it was repeated.
Yeah, there was a bit of continuity. You would know certain things about it, but also that's the great thing about Doctor Who is it can kind of be almost anything.
I mean, I guess so, kind of what I was thinking, and because I watched this, I've just been thinking about Doctor Who a bit more because we were going to chat about it. I suppose what I kind of was thinking about was, and I know that you talked about this with Laura. She was talking about one of her favorite programs was Buffy. I had like Buffy down for a moment and Firefly's one of mine, but then I was like, Joss Whedon's a baddie. That's not why. But I just because I thought there was other things like that. But one of the things that I've kind of thought about over the past couple of days is this is a very, very early example of Monster of the Week. It's sort of it like there isn't like you can dip in and out. Like obviously the serial aspect means there's 4 episodes over the course of 4 weeks, but and that's something I think that the modern Doctor Who's kind of carried on as well. Just it's like there is potentially an overarching storyline, which I think is good. I think that's clever when they do it, and then there's what like the overall kind of storyline. But at the same time, a Monster of the Week episode, it's a very satisfying format, isn't it? And
I mean, like this podcast really couldn't exist without that format because. you can't drop people into the middle. Like I can show you Carnival of Monsters, and you're like, okay, like I've got what's going on here.
Wait, are you telling me that Vorg doesn't come back?
No Vorg. No Vorg ever again. I'm sorry.
But what about a spin-off? Does that...
You know...
The Adventures of Vorg.
The chances are... my Big Finish audio knowledge is not great, but the chances are there's a CD somewhere.
Or maybe like a novelization.
Or a novel, yeah. A novel published in the 90s.
Just, I think, like, again, sort of this story itself could be quite throwaway. And, the thing about it is it works within the context of a wider whole where it's like, what's the Doctor up to this week?
Yeah.
This is what he's up to. And there's a bit of world building as well in terms of stuff he's done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives us a bit more of a... I mean, I don't know, like, maybe this has already been made clear, but gives an idea of his moral compass more. Yeah. And I think there's a lot in it. And I think, what there is at the end of this episode, the first episode, which really made me want to watch the next one, was the giant hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's always nice to see these effects, particularly when you're telling me that they're largely in camera somehow, or vision mixed.
But it's all
brilliant.
Vision mixing, yeah.
Because that was a beautiful giant hand.
And episode 2 opens things up a bit. We get to see they sort of break out the boat into the kind of inner circuits, which again, like, you probably don't even notice watching it, but I was looking at it going, they've definitely done some sort of weird split screen reflecting thing or something with the wider, to try and create a wider set, which again is very creative. I mean, I don't know if they have or not, but I feel like that's what's going on.
I mean, they've clearly reused that same bit of set from different angles multiple times, but that's fine.
Also, kind of that's inside the machinery set made me think of like old Top of the Pops or something.
Well, funnily enough, what I've written here is I love the Doctor working out the weird nonsense technology. I love the set design of the blown up alien electronic components. What I've said it reminded me of is the set of Parallel 9, if you recall that.
Parallel 9?
It was like a CBBC early Saturday morning thing. So it was like at the same time slot as like Going Live and Live and Kicking. But it was set on an alien planet in another dimension, Parallel 9.
Was it?
It was quite elaborate.
Was it like a story, or was it like a... What was
it? So it was like a Saturday morning magazine show, but there was like a storyline as well, where it's like these people were like trapped in another dimension. There was this sort of beardy guy who was like in charge. But what it meant was, like, in practice, you'd have people coming in like pop stars to be interviewed by people who were trapped in this alien dimension.
Right, okay.
So they would be like, "Oh, I'm trapped in this alien dimension, but tell us about your new pop song." It was bonkers and
is
very
phenomenal.
weird.
I am very, very in love with that idea.
I mean,
oh my God, I'm looking at the pictures right now. There's puppets.
There's puppets.
Have no memory of this at all.
And the sets were quite elaborate. I mean, they had like kind of like, what gantries and stuff, and it was like, but it was like there's quite a lot of, you can like find stuff about it, I'm sure, on YouTube, because it is quite bizarre. There's a guy I watched on YouTube who did a thing about it recently, Stuart Millard. But anyway, like basically, it is exactly like, say, Going Live, except instead of Philip Schofield being a man in a studio asking the questions, it is a woman who's imprisoned in another dimension asking the questions. And being a bit awkward because she has to return to character every now and then and go, "Oh, if I ever get out of Parallel 9, maybe I'll get to go to one of your concerts." And they're just like,
everyone's like, yeah.
But that is what the sets remind me of. It was kind of like,
I love the idea of like young pop stars, because that's very much pre-media training and all that sort of stuff as well. Absolutely. So all the interviews are still really awkward.
They're very awkward. You should definitely watch some of it. It's very funny. It's like, but also gotta love the high concept. Why just have people being in a studio? Why not transport them to another dimension?
That's
fine.
phenomenal.
Someone either was promoted or fired for that program. But I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly certain it lasted for a couple of series. I remember watching it avidly, but then I watched out all of that Saturday morning shite, like 8:15 to Manchester and all that.
I mean, it's not kicking up a single neuron of memory, but like it is 100% something I would be all over. So,
do you ever flick between the channels when you're little? Like, what's happening in number 23 versus what's happening? Going like, I better check what's happening in the Ghost Train.
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially since ITV had. I was an ITV boy. To be honest, but it had adverts.
Well, it did, but then you can flick back to the BBC. But do you remember, like, there was another thing? So there was a thing on ITV which had a similar sort of, not the same, but a kind of, it started off with more a high concept. Like Ghost Train started off with a bit of a high concept where it was like, it's a ghost train. But then it was just like, it's a ghost train. But there was also,
Get Fresh.
Oh, you can't remember Ghost Train?
No, I do remember Ghost Train, but I can't remember, like, all I can remember is the titles, and Jenny Powell. That was a Jenny Powell one, wasn't it?
Well, maybe. She was definitely on, was she not? She was on Up To You. She might have been on Get Fresh as well with Gaz Top. Or Gaz, whatever. He went by his normal name when he was on How To, but yeah, Gaz Top. And Gilbert the Alien was on Get Fresh. And the spaceship, it was like a travelling Saturday morning TV show. It would visit different towns. There was a spaceship that would land each week in a different town.
Jesus Christ, Michael, I've just pulled up a picture of the alien and the explosion that just went off in my head.
Gilbert, right? I think he was very snotty. He had horrible, like, snot that would come out of his nose, and he was gross. He had like a kind of voice. It was awful. But
we loved snotty characters back then.
Absolutely, I thought it was hilarious. But he, I think, had like some. He would also advertise something. You would have seen him if you didn't watch Get Fresh. But it's like Get Fresh for the logo.
The logo.
So 90s.
Jeez, how did we get onto this?
Because the set, when they were inside the microscope, or the miniscope, like, reminded me of Parallel 9.
Okay.
What?
And then they make it into...
just to return to that, though, I really loved the electronics components. Like, I was watching this with Rose, and Rose was like, "Ooh, that's probably like inside one of your synthesizers." And I was thinking... And do you know what? We both immediately recognised that they were meant to be electronics components. Okay. It was like, I really liked that set because of the economy of the design. Most of it was just black space, and then there was things which looked a bit like something. And I thought it was great. It was very evocative, and it was like, when the doctor goes, we're inside a machine. This is the components. You're like, yes, you are.
I really enjoyed when he said it's like walking around inside a wristwatch.
Exactly.
And it made me think it was like how digital watches were like the fucking iPhone back then.
Absolutely. But full of loads of space that a tiny person could walk around in.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you couldn't walk around inside an iPhone.
You wouldn't go walk around inside a smartwatch, would you?
Oh, no. Apple cram those things tight. I'm sure other producers, other companies are available who do as well. I think, it was early days of like microprocessors and things, so it was like there probably was lots of discrete components, which maybe if you were tiny you could walk around, but not anymore. But I loved that, and it's kind of like the fact that the doctor just immediately realised that. I was just like, this guy knows.
Oh, he knows. He's seen the inside of a computer before.
he's opened up and fixed his fair share of kind of cold solder joints.
Yeah. He definitely has. Yeah. He's a man of science. Man of action, man of science. Pertwee was all things.
What is it?
What is it? My dear girl, this is a perfect example of an early pulse mechanism based on the principle of cesium decay. Oh, this is absolutely vintage stuff.
But this can't be the ship's engine room.
Well, of course it isn't. I told you, we're no longer in the ship.
Well, where's the TARDIS?
I've no idea. Probably outside this machine entirely.
there's a thing I've noticed here which I really liked, where they're talking about, like, Vorg is explaining the machine for a bit of context, because obviously it's the second episode. We need some context. What is this? And he talks about it, and he goes, oh, look at these people. These are Telurians. And it's sort of like, Telurians, they look a bit like us. Oh, I've noted here, the resemblance is unpleasant. I don't know who said that.
Yeah.
Like that
one of the grey guys, yeah.
Yeah. The resemblance is unpleasant. Also, the screen on the miniscope is utter shit. They're like, oh, it's a glow screen. It's like, it's no one would want to look at that for more than a minute. It would hurt your head, unless it works much better in real life. I realise it's because it's done in camera.
Yeah.
But it looks bad. And it was
I like that as an attention to detail. I like things I love, like, I do love that it has a name for humans that isn't humans. Because why would they, and things like that.
Well, I wanted to ask you, so Telurian's not a thing? Is that just what they've come up with?
It comes up again, like the same scriptwriter writes a script and he uses it again later on as a bit of...
for Earthlings?
Yeah. But no.
I wondered, because while I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, and I hate it, there is obviously I'm aware of the Telurians.
Oh, I see. Yes, which were only a couple of seasons previous to this.
Well, apparently, yeah, so I'm aware that they were older characters, but obviously they were brought back in New Who.
And Silurians are from Earth.
Well, that's the thing, but they're like, so I wondered if, like, Silurians and Telurians were maybe sort of different levels of humans from Earth.
I'd never made that link before.
Are they like, so was his name Robert
Holmes?
Did Robert Holmes write the Telurian episodes?
No, but he was involved in that season.
I just wondered, like, so it was a thing I've made a note here to ask you about it, because I wondered, because obviously, did Vorg and Shunner just pull this name for humans out of their bum, or is there a race called the Telurians, or is it something that the wider universe knew them as because they were aware of the Telurians?
I think it's what I don't think I've never heard anyone make the link to the Telurians, but it's great. It's a very interesting connection that I'd never considered before. But yeah, no, as far as I'm aware, it's just a name that the writer's been like, this is what aliens call humans.
Right, okay.
Because they don't really know that much about humans other than what they look like.
Because they're shit.
Yeah.
Really, the only aliens interested is the Doctor for some reason. But also, I did wonder at this point when he was demonstrating the machine, I was kind of like, because this is the thing. So, the reason I wanted to come back to the boxing incident is because I was kind of like, what is the point of this? Like, so we're watching these people just be on a boat. We're watching them be on a boat. What's the point? Why is it interesting? Why can't it just be a recording if they're just doing the same thing over and over again? Why do they have to be the real people made dead small? But then Vorg introduces the concept of the agrometer.
Yes.
And I was like,
oh, yeah, that's how they get into the fight, yes.
Yeah, and he says, it's amusingly violent. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that's good. But also the explain the time loop thing with the line about if you leave them if you leave them on their own for too long, then they start damaging each other.
Yes. Well, I kind of, but wasn't he talking about, like, that's why you can't leave the agrometer up too high for too long, because then they'll just start to, like, you'll risk them damaging each other. And I was kind of thinking, yeah, but also you're absolutely right. If you didn't leave them if you left them to their own devices, humans will start damaging each other because we're awful. And that's
absolutely terrible.
Although the Doctor doesn't think so, he thinks they're brilliant and capable of wonderful things. But that led to the boxing. Then he turned down the agrometer, and they just immediately went, let's just go. And they left. They were taking them down to lock them up somewhere after the boxing, and then the agrometer was turned down just as they were about to. Was that
a reset? Was that not a reset of the cycle as well, or was it?
Nah. So like they were taken away. I think they were going to kill them. Even
that's right. Yeah, they were going to execute them for being stowaways.
And then, like, that's when Vorg's like, "Oh, you can't leave it for too long, otherwise we'll damage each other." And he turns it down, and then they just fuck off and leave them. And it's kind of like they've just totally forgotten them now. Maybe that also reset the time loop. I don't know.
Well,
but they just
also that shows the level of control as well. It's a bit of a weird, like, brain wipe kind of.
Absolutely. And we kind of come back to that later with, what's her name? The Major's daughter. Because like I feel like she's been brain damaged by this experience. But then, obviously, the next amazing thing is the fact that we see a bit more of Vorg and Shunner. And they do some incredible sort of space future music hall dancing.
Yes, that's right.
And like, so obviously there's this carnival aesthetic, but I was also getting like kind of music hall, like they were like, love a duck. I don't know what they said in the music hall, but you know, it was very much, it felt like a kind of Cockney knees up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is great, brilliant, but also it's sort of like, does this feel futuristic? I mean, obviously his hat's made of plastic, so maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not meant to be like, they're not meant to be from the future. They're just sort of alternative.
Absolutely.
Which I think is just, carte blanche to make them do whatever you want.
That is a good point, and something that I forget with Doctor Who. It's not necessarily the future. He could be in an alien past. He could be in the alien present. Just because those people are from 1923 from Earth or whatever, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, the thing is, it's never made clear when this is set in. In time, but it doesn't matter because the main thing is it's definitely an alien planet with aliens on it. You're absolutely right. The next thing I've noted here, though, Richie, is all in capitals: eradication. Because the aliens, the officials, try to eradicate the machine.
Yes, it's.
Have they got a little handheld one, or do they use the big one at that point?
They wheel in the big gun. But it's like all very, again, it's all about sort of hiding your evilness behind bureaucracy. And
so I've not noted this, but there was a previous moment, and this is like maybe in the first episode where there was a moment, I think it might be when I said incredible special effects. There's a bit where a man pulls out, one of the grey guys, the officials pulls out it looks a bit like a peeler.
Oh yeah, he pulls
and he does a thing, and it does like a kind of weird like video toaster effect. If you remember that.
Yes, that's right. Yes, you're right, because one of the workers
is being bad,
and he's basically gone up the stairs, and they're not allowed up the stairs, so he
fucking kills him.
So that's
he
right.
doesn't kill him.
It all ties into this, like they allow the entertainers to stay because they're like, if we had entertainment for the workers, then they might be more distracted and won't.
Absolutely. I think so. The machine, the little thing, I took it to be like a mini eradicator. He doesn't eradicate him, he just hurts him, and he's like, take him away and go, well, he'll be executed. Well, hopefully. I should have thought so. But yeah, they use those again later, but I totally forgot that had happened. And that was quite an important thing of setting up the politics of, what's the planet called again?
Is it called Interminor?
Yeah, I forgot every time. But yeah, like those guys.
Interminor, yeah.
But also, I noted at this point, I hadn't quite cottoned on that they were called the functionaries at this point. But obviously, they had to operate the Eradicator, and the Eradicator didn't work on the Miniscope. But also, I noticed it felt like their faces were getting more melty, because of the heat in the studio.
Oh yeah, potentially, yeah.
Doctor, I think we're going round in circles. I'm sure we've been this way before.
No. All these shafts look very much alike.
Hey! I was right. Look, your handkerchief. I must have dropped it.
Yes, you are right. We must have been this way before.
Oh, well, that's it. We're lost.
Of course we're not lost, Joe. What makes you think that? See this? You know what that is? That's a bearing housing for one of the ventilator shafts.
Oh, good. Knowing makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, I thought it might.
Oh, well, that means we're almost home, doesn't it?
It means there should be an air duct around here somewhere.
Silly question, but why are we looking for an air duct?
Well, where's air ducted from, Joe?
Outside.
Right first time.
Sorry, Doctor, it's just I thought we weren't getting anywhere.
Yes, I know. The trouble is, we're inside the blueprint instead of looking down on it.
No, in fact, I found the third episode the most boring out of the 4.
Right, okay.
In this one, there was stuff with the Doctor. He was sort of looking around, checking the circuits.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to figure out if there was a way out.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of sort of chat as him and Joe were going around. He says, or maybe Joe says at one point, all these shafts look very much alike, which I quite liked. Initially, I thought, is that an excuse for just reusing the set? But no, then Joe discovers, so Scarfman is like, no, we are lost.
When she's like, I think we're going around the circuit. It was another one of those.
And he was like, no,
I know where I'm going.
I'm the Doctor. But then she finds a scarf and she proves them wrong. And then there's a big eye peering in at them. Which I loved.
That was great.
Big eye.
Great. Do you know what I really liked about the big eye? Actually, it made me think about how like the change in perspective. Obviously, you've got these sort of very silly characters, but then when you see them from the point of view of the Doctor and Joe, they're terrifying. Suddenly, you're like, "That's terrifying." There's a big eye, and then it cuts to them outside, and they're just like, "I don't know what's going on."
No, absolutely,
which is great.
But then we also see, so we come back out and Vorg is checking the circuits.
Yes.
And he's flashing through things. And there's a Cyberman in there!
Yeah.
I was like, shit, are we going to see a Cyberman?
No, it's just a wee cameo. A wee cameo.
But one of the things I wondered, so obviously, what Vorg explains is, he says, like a bit more exposition, a bit more explanation as to what the machine is, how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it, no, in fact, the Doctor talks about it. One of them talks about it. Basically, they talk about, it produces a compression field.
Yeah.
And I was like, so that's what shrinks them. Is that like the Master's tissue compression field or whatever? Obviously, that kills people. Whereas this doesn't kill them.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, again, nobody's really made that link because it didn't, the Master shrinking people didn't happen until the late 70s. Maybe even 1980.
Robert Delgado guy, was he shrinking people? He looks the type.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so wrong. Delgado, the Master's very first appearance, he shrinks. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, he has the tissue compression. God, I'd have been rinsed for that one.
You're fired, Richie. Cut that out.
I know.
Cut it.
No, well, again, nobody's made that link, but I guess it's a similar idea. But it's just very funny that you're making these links and nobody else.
What I find curious though is just the notion of compression. That just sounds quite violent versus just shrinking.
I know. Well, compression. Yeah, compression is this idea that your mass doesn't change, but the space that you exist has been squashed. Yeah, but it's just. Obviously it's just a line to be like. There's we've written a line as to why this is why this is happening.
It's pseudoscience mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, it's not. Also, it's again, it's not important. It's important that there's a line that explains it, but there's not any more than that.
But the best thing then is the Doctor pulls out like a commando saw, like a diamond kind of chain thing.
Oh yes, again, man of action. Always prepared.
Absolutely. Like, he doesn't, like he doesn't use a lot of tools. Obviously earlier and this is something I'll bring up in a minute, but earlier on when he tried to get out of the cabin, Joe was like, can't you just use your sonic screwdriver? He was like, no, it only works in electronics. So he can't use that to get through this metal thing. So he brings out his commando chainsaw thing and does that, up and down with a kind of flexible saw. Cuts through the thing and they get into a place where it's clearly the moors, some kind of marsh, but it's not. It's an alien planet.
It's an alien planet.
Drashigs. Are they a thing?
I was reading here that the Drashig is an anagram of dish rag.
Oh.
Because that's what the actors were looking at as their.
That's a brilliant fact.
I hope it's true, but it's good. It's good.
Do you know what? It doesn't matter if it's not. It is.
The sonic screwdriver not only working on electronics is fun because it's just like, you've upgraded that, haven't you?
Well, he upgrades it over the course of this serial, Richie, as I'm about to confirm.
Oh, yeah.
But that's fine. I think that's not till episode 3. But basically, they're talking about this. The Doctor's cutting through this thing, and then I think we cut back to there's a lot of cutting between the A and the B plot, constantly, which again is fine. It's what you need. But it gets a bit confusing at times if you're trying to remember it. But what I found quite surprising about this is I've made a note of this specifically because Vorg starts talking about how the Drashigs are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, everyone loves the Drashigs, and it kind of made me just think the tone of this act is confusing. So what he mentions is the children love to see this. Then he talks about how the Drashigs tear people limb from limb. They tear them to shreds.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, what is this act? So they're dressed ridiculously. Maybe that's just the showman style of their planet. But they're basically doing that to show people a terrible TV.
So the Drashig are isolated in their environment, though.
I know, but he talks about how they love seeing people things rendered, torn to shreds.
Kids
is what it says. Kids are gruesome.
Kids are gruesome. I feel like you might be overthinking.
I totally am.
What do you call the creatures here? The Drashigs. My little carnivores. Oh, they're great favourites with the children, with their gnashing and snapping and tearing at each other.
Vorg, look!
The Telurians! They've broken into the circuit!
Vorg, you've got to get them out.
How can I? They're already as good as dead.
Why?
Once the Drashigs get their scent, they won't stand a chance.
Fascinating.
And we barely touched on all of the secretive chats between the people in the tribunal, and there's
they're trying to overthrow their liberal-minded kind of boss.
Yeah, I kind of caught their names by the end. There's Aurum, Kalik, and Petrarch, I believe. Petrarch, I think, is maybe the president's brother, Zarb. I don't know if he's his actual brother or if he just refers to him as brother, but he's the most important one because he's got a coat.
Yes, and he seems to be the boss, and then you've got Kalik, who's the conspirator.
He's the villainous one.
And then you've got the kind of, not dumb, but very impressionable.
He really reminded me of...
The most kind of cowardly one.
He reminded me of Nog from Deep Space Nine.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of...
Oh, do you mean Rom? You mean Rom, don't you?
I mean Rom. Sorry, Nog's dad. God. I'm a fucking idiot.
Do you know, just a bit of trivia for you, Kalik... The actor that plays Kalik also played the very first Davros. Which
really?
Probably means very little to you.
Well,
I watched any Tom Baker.
I've heard of Davros. But I feel like I recognise that actor. But I don't know what from. Also, I mean, by the end of this, most obviously, he was the sweatiest of the aliens. But this is another thing, and again, it's more obvious by the end. But the fact that this was all just filmed in one is obvious because they're clearly struggling by the end. They're getting very hot and sweaty.
Well, they don't do the whole serial in one, but they'll do it episode a week. They'd rehearse it through the week, and then on the Friday they would shoot.
Oh, okay. But certainly you can tell by the end of each episode that they've been sweaty. That guy, the guy who plays Kalik, particularly the grey makeup around his eyes and mouth is
that all starts to fall apart.
And Petrarch's bald cap becomes more and more loose at one point, particularly in the last episode.
That's right.
And funnily enough, actually, I read a thing. I was curious about the sort of reception of this episode. Apparently, it was rebroadcast at some point, and a BBC
in the early 80s.
Yeah, and the BBC, the guy who asked for it to be rebroadcast,
the director
insisted they cut out 4 seconds or something because his bald cap was really obviously loose. Which I was like, it must have been just at the point where he's like, look at that, and then it gets cut because it was at the very end apparently.
Yeah,
because me and Rose were both like, what's going on with this? Oh, but then it cut. But I think again. Obviously, he's talking about the Drashigs. So obviously, I'm maybe overthinking the the sort of provenance of this act. It doesn't matter. This is the act as it is. But he's talking about the Drashigs. And then we see the Drashigs, and they're just screaming. It's incredible. And they look amazing. It's an incredible reveal.
I'd love the Drashig reveal. It's so great.
Both me and Rose cheered. We're like, yeah! But
it's just a great big sloppy wet model as well.
They're horrible. And they arguably look terrible, but they're horrible. And the screaming is awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the setting of the marshland as well, how it's kind of I was like, is that the bubbles of smoke? They must have done that, right? They must have.
Well, I think they must have.
Yeah. And of course this when he uses I like the pull down action on his sonic screwdriver, by the way. I like the
absolutely.
But yeah, he does a very new Doctor Who thing of using the sonic screwdriver to explode everything around him.
Well, this is what I was getting at a minute ago. So obviously, the Drashigs are screaming at them, continuing to be delightful. The Doctor comments on like the fact that, as you say, the marsh is all bubbly.
Yeah.
Joe's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, some kind of natural gas, probably." And then, as you say, he uses his sonic screwdriver to explode it all.
Also, it's pretty spectacular.
Well, it's pretty spectacular. But Richie, if you recall, not 2 episodes ago, he said it only works in electronics. And he's literally just described these as natural gases. What is it he's doing? Like,
he's using sound to ignite.
Well, maybe. That's not electronics, so I don't know. It just seems like a inconsistency. Absolutely fine with it, though, because obviously in modern Doctor Who, which again, I don't know if I've mentioned, I have watched, he uses his sonic screwdriver for all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
Can do anything.
Yes.
So, it's just
like
some MacGuffin.
Use it to flush all the toilets in Canary Wharf or something like that.
Amazing. It does everything. But like, I think at that point, I was fine with it. But what I then liked is, again, there's a big hand, because they, like Shurna, is it Shurna? Shurna, in fact, no, it's the grey guys, one of the grey guys. Maybe Autumn is like, oh, don't let them get hot, you have to do something. In fact, it is one of the grey guys because Vorg pulls him up on it in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like, do something. So Vorg sticks his hand in and waves it in front of the Drashig's face. So the Doctor and Joe can escape. And then, like, it's brilliant. Again, that incredible effect.
Yeah.
But I love that. And then there is a bit of chat where they're like, oh, can't believe you did that. Well, I did it because you said you wanted us to save them. Oh, okay. But what I like at that point is they get back out of the marsh bit, and then there's some lovely exposition and acting from Pertwee.
Oh, yeah.
About the fact that he's now aware of what this machine is.
Oh, yes.
He's talking about, he's like, oh, it's a miniscope. And he was instrumental in getting them banned throughout the galaxy, maybe even the universe. I don't know what he said,
which becomes important later on.
Well, absolutely, because he thought they were incredibly cruel, and I was like, oh, he's a very moral guy, the Doctor.
Oh yeah,
and I knew that to an extent, but it's kind of interesting to see him and I think they do touch on this a bit more. Like, just she says, well, I thought your people didn't get involved in stuff. And he's like, well, I basically harassed them until they did because I think this is reprehensible. It's like brilliant, he's kind of actually using his power to do something, to do some activism.
Pertwee's got a bit of that going on in a few of his stories where he's he's quite
activism.
Yeah, there's some anti-war messaging. He's very moral, but he's obviously a very kind of old school kind of gentleman, but also like and very kind of British, but also at the same time he's very he takes pops at people for things like racism and isolationism, on a level that they could get away with without being. I mean, back then, being being against racism wasn't political; it was just a thing that you were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like anti-war messaging and all that sort of stuff. So there was a bit of that. There was a lot of that going on in some of his stories, which is nice.
Do you think that was his influence rather than the writers?
It's probably the writers, but I can't imagine he would have had too much of an objection.
I'm totally against it. I love racism. I can't really do a very good impression, but no, I think like that really won me to him. It's sort of like, oh, this is some good exposition. And what I quite liked about that was sort of before, obviously there was talk of the fact that the compression field was failing, and Rose had suggested that this was an example, like when it had been mentioned earlier, she'd suggested, well, I wonder if that's going to be important. She referred to Chekhov's compression field, which obviously turned out to be correct. Classic Chekhov's compression field. No, they're going to get out.
By Jingo, I've got it. I know what this is.
What?
We're in a miniscope.
A miniscope?
Yes, you know, Joe, it's like one of those things, those glass cases that people keep colonies of ants in.
Oh, yes, but I don't think... Oh, wait a minute. Do you mean that Major Daly and all those people on the ship are in a sort of a peep show?
That's right, Joe. And you and I are inside its works.
And outside there are people and creatures just looking at us for kicks.
Very probably.
They must be evil and horrible.
Not necessarily, Joe. Thoughtless, maybe.
Thoughtless?
Well, haven't you ever been to the zoo? You never kept goldfish in a bowl?
Well, yes, but that's slightly different. We're not animals.
We are to those creatures up there, Joe. Roll up, roll up, roll up. And see these funny little creatures in the native habitat. Watch them go through their funny little tricks. Poke them with a stick and make them jump.
Oh, stop it, Doctor. It's not funny.
Oh, I know.
I've written a lot of notes for episode 4, sorry.
No,
I don't
please.
But no, episode 4, obviously the Doctor is now, he's gone big. The grey guys want to eradicate him. They call him the creature, which I liked.
Yeah. And he gets annoyed about that.
He does. One of them calls him the creature. He's very unimpressed by their bureaucracy in general. At one point, what I liked was he was accused of being an unauthorized life form, which I thought is something I'm going to start calling people.
Is that that's what he gets annoyed at? Well, that's another pertwee thing. He's very anti-establishment.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't like authority at all.
But he doesn't. But he doesn't like authority, and he's annoyed. But he's also still very gentlemanly because he bows to Shunna. He's furious about the miniscope, and he mentions it's expressly forbidden by intergalactic law. But the best bit is he then out-bureaucracies the bureaucrats. It totally confuses them.
Do you know what it is about, like, especially, there's something about old Doctor Who. I don't know if it's sometimes you're like, am I just being very condescending? But sometimes the little details about how the stories come together and the way the Doctor solves the situations does often have you going, that's good. I like really that. That's good. You know, it's like a
I don't disagree.
Yeah, and you're right. The sort of bureaucrating them is a very popular thing. But I also like he was like, did this come with like a button? Have you got like the? Yeah. The boy's like, let me check my bag. It was very.
Well, that was very like it was
an extreme dad moment.
Do you have the software support disk for this peripheral you've bought for your computer?
It's like a little green thing.
So remember when you buy things for your PC, like you get a new like expansion card, you plug in, you need to install the drivers. That's what it was. It was a driver disk. But like, I think the fact is, so this episode, everything kicked off quite quickly. You're absolutely right. It all comes together. It could have been maybe a bit more paced. I don't know.
Right.
I liked it, but do you know, sort of. One of the things I really liked about this episode, but it seemed like it was unnecessary. It could have come out of the machine earlier. It could have been introduced earlier. We talked about you called them Carnies before they are like because at one point Vorg's like, oh, I recognise this. He reckons the Doctor's a Carnival type, and he refers to the tribunal guys as grey-faced idiots, which I really liked.
Yes.
So then he's like, he talks to the Doctor and he starts talking to him in Space Carney.
Yes.
And
apparently that's a real...
Sorry, I don't understand.
That's
is
a
that a
real
real thing?
thing.
But
Now,
not
hold
Space
on.
Carney.
No, it's not called Space Carney, but it's.
I did
where is it?
wonder. I'm aware of this being there being like a show people language, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was often. Well, sorry, I was reading about this because I was quite amazed actually when I read about it, and I was like, "Wait, that's a." Oh God, I can't find it. That's really annoying. But yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, apparently,
Cut it in after the fact. You can make yourself sound
Hold
really
on, give me a
interesting.
second. See if I can find it.
Knowledgeable. While you're looking at that, I would also just say at this point the Doctor has a go at them as well. So while he's being nice to Shurna and he's being polite to Vorg, he has a right go at them for imprisoning people in the miniscope, because again he wants to be clear that he thinks they're abhorrent, which is absolutely reasonable. I think it's totally legitimate. It does seem like a reprehensible machine. They're trapping people in time loops.
Oh yeah.
And he says, like, he's like, it's bad enough for it to have been dumb animals, but these are civilized people. And it does make you think, that is monstrous. Hence the Carnival of Monsters. Who is the Carnival of Monsters
who's
here,
the
Richie?
real monster? Who's the real monster? It's called Polari. And there's a translation actually here as well.
It's show chat, isn't it?
So he says Parley the Carney, Varda the Bonapaloni, Nilenti Denari here Yagils. And he says, do you talk the carnival language? Look at the good looking young girl. No money to be made here, you know. And it's called Polari, and Wikipedia says is a form of slang or cant historically used primarily in the United Kingdom among the gay subculture.
Well, that's what I wondered, yeah.
As well as some actors, circus and fairground performers, professional wrestlers, merchant navy soldiers.
Well, as soon as you said Polari, I was like, I'm aware of Polari, but I wouldn't.
No, it's on the. That's what it's just in the trivia bit of the wiki.
That's interesting. I like the fact that he said there's no money to be made here as well.
Yeah.
These guys aren't buying what we're selling, because he's absolutely right. They're not.
I bet he understands the Polari. Listen to this.
Hey?
The Telurian carnival lingo. Watch. Polari the Carney.
I beg your pardon?
Varda the Bonapalone.
I'm sorry.
Natty Denari round here, you Jules.
I must apologize. I'm afraid I do not understand your language.
You understand, all right. You're a showman the same as me, ain't you?
You a showman, sir?
Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Great Vorg. And this beautiful young lady is Shurna, my assistant.
Delighted, Miss Shurna. I am the Doctor.
It's quite a mad climax in the sense of, like, conceptually what's going on is mental. Like, you've got them trying to deal with the device. You've got the giant Drashigs are sort of terrorizing the city. You've got the sort of coup happening. Of course, it is hit by the restrictions of it being an episode of Doctor Who.
With 5 people on set or whatever.
But
6.
still, like, it's still pretty good though.
It did start to feel quite high stakes because everyone was going off at once. You know, I kind of feel like they could have spread it out, but I feel like they maybe decided, why would we spread it out when just have it all kick off at the end? And I think it worked. And, you know, it definitely made Carlick more sweaty, as noted. His face started to get more pink.
I think the pacing. I know you had a bit of a dip in episode 3, but I feel like some Doctor Who can have a part 4 problem with its serials, or you know. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. I think they sort of loaded all of that stuff right for the end, and.
But it kind of felt like, you know, there was suddenly, like, it almost could have been like a Deus Ex Machina. The Doctor's like, it's all right, I've got a plan. What I'll do is I'll connect this machine I've got out the TARDIS to this. Then I'll go back inside. You do something, monitor this. He goes back inside. He gets Jo. Somehow Jo had found keys at some point, so she wasn't even trapped. But we've kind of not really paid much attention to her since the Doctor wasn't with her. One of the things I really liked was that the Interminans threatened the Doctor with prison for vagrancy, which I really like, because he is a bit like a hobo.
Yeah,
which is totally fine. And again, that kind of comes back to the episodic nature. It kind of was like, oh, he's like the littlest hobo, except he's not a dog. But he goes into the machine, and then the thing it's connected to is damaged because the Drashigs get out. He meets Joe, and then
a lot of that stuff feels very like that whole climax for the machine.
Rushed.
Well, I wasn't going to say rushed, but it felt very new Doctor Who.
Oh, maybe.
Like you have that sort of that kind of montage of everyone being sent back to their respective places. And,
absolutely.
He goes into the machine and it gets shot, and then the stakes are even higher, and it's like, God, is he going to fix it in time?
With that as well, one of the things that I appreciate about this, the soundtrack was good throughout.
Yeah.
There was some jaunty bits. It was a bit silly at points, but at no point did it do the thing that New Who does, where it just really eggs you on to go, this is drama because the music is drama. All the orchestral swells and stuff. It didn't do that. It's just like, this is dramatic because it's happening, And I appreciated that because everything was kicking off. The Drashigs escape. Things are happening. The conspirators managed to get that panel off, so they do escape. So it's kind of like, and then just at exactly that point in time, Shurna finds the part that the baddies have hidden in Vorg stuff. They don't know what it's for at that point, but they're chatting. And they're going, what's that? And the humans inside the miniscope are like, oh, I think I'm dying of heat exposure or something. This is awful. But it's not. The life support's failing. And then the Drashigs escape. And then I think Petrek, the main official, the one with the coat, maybe Zab's brother, he tries to use the Eradicator. It doesn't work, and he goes, sabotage, which I really liked. And then I think they all die, maybe? I don't know. The grey guys maybe don't die. But Vorg then goes, I recognise the part. It will fix the Eradicator. He fixes it. He kills the Drashigs. Brilliant. And then this is a point where I got a bit lost. Somehow he fixes the machine. I don't know, he goes over and hits it or something. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, everyone's fixed just in time. Then he switches it off. And then it's like, everyone comes out. And then the doctor's like, well, actually, I'd done some clever programming. This is what you just referred to.
Yeah.
He's linked it to the TARDIS's computer. So everyone and everything that was in there has gone back to where they came from and when they came from.
Yeah.
All very neat.
It's a lot easier than having them all appear on set.
That would have been so awesome, though. And then
everyone turns to the camera and waves.
Exactly.
Bye-bye.
That was great. I mean, it makes sense. But then there's a nice couple of little codas where the Doctor and Vorg are chatting. But before that, we have the boat, and time is returned to normal.
Yes.
And then the Major's like, he'd already made a thing about it. You mentioned on all the time lapse how he's reading this book, and it was taking ages to read. And then he goes, this seems to have taken a long time to finish. But what I really liked was the fact that his daughter, who I've written down her name is Claire, she briefly seems like her brain might be broken because every time Joe spoke to her, she was like, don't you remember me? And she went, she briefly seems a bit like she might be having an aneurysm because of the trauma on her mind. But then she's like, it's all fine, and everyone's happy. And then, as you mentioned, Vorg wins.
Yeah. It's also, I like the nice wee touch when he crosses the day off his calendar.
Absolutely. That was beautiful.
And it's just a nice, again, it's just like, it's a callback to the previous episode where he's like, look, he's tracking the days with the calendar, and it's like,
it's never going to get to that next day.
That's what happens when you write more than one draft of a script,
No, exactly. Well, that is sweet. And then obviously, like, it's kind of like, is Vorg stranded on Interminor now? Because his machines.
He's now realised that he can make a few quid
off these idiots. These
idiots.
grey-faced idiots. Yeah. What I quite liked though as well, because he'd obviously referenced the fact that he had won the machine from some Wallarians, whoever they are, by doing what was obviously find the lady.
Yeah.
And then he does it to with Petrarch, who apparently hadn't died. I can only assume that Kalik and Orm did though, because they're never seen again. I hope they got well eaten by a Drashig. But what I really liked about this bit, and it was just a beautiful finale, like a beautiful moment which encapsulated the whole thing, when he's doing Find the Lady, he's doing it on one of the shittest props from the whole series, and it's clearly
cardboard.
Absolutely, it's a lid made out of corrugated cardboard that's clearly buckling, and it's like, what the hell? And Petrarch's bald cap is starting to show as well. And it's just like, yeah, and everyone's happy. It's a really good ending, and I
nice
genuinely
ending.
very enjoyed it.
I love also just I always love the Doctor slipping off without saying bye.
Absolutely.
And there's that really lovely shot of Shurna smiling when she realises. It's good.
That's
good.
him away. That's him away, but
that's him away.
But in the good way. Do you know, like, I really like that ending. I think it was absolutely perfect, and I think you're absolutely right. That is, I think, how the Doctor should leave things. Shouldn't say goodbye. It's just F off. That's how as I've got older, I like to leave, like,
the Irish goodbye,
like nights out and stuff. Just disappear. I think it saves trouble.
Yeah. You're adding like another 20 minutes onto.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're like, I've decided it's time to leave. Because if you're getting a train, you're like, I should just go. Because if I start saying bye to people, then I'm going to miss this train.
I mean, sloping off is like, it's arguably rude, but also cool and mysterious.
Exactly.
Just like the Doctor.
Doctor. So that brings us to an end of Carnival of Monsters. Now, overall, how was your Doctor Who experience, do you think?
If anything, I hate Doctor Who more than before. No, not really. I enjoyed it. I really did. I had limited expectations, but what I would say, I liked the fact that you have tailored an episode notionally. I think the fact that you've chosen something that I enjoyed, like, it's possible that I would have enjoyed anything you'd suggest I watched, but maybe not. Maybe there is, because I think, like, with anything of this nature, where there's like an episode written by different writers, nothing can be consistently good. There's always going to be shite. And I think this like, I obviously I realize you wouldn't choose a terrible episode for anyone, because who's that going to benefit? But I think this was entertaining. There's a lot of clever ideas, and as we said, I mean, it does all tie up nicely. I do think it dragged on a bit, not overall, but it could have been like one sort of like maybe modern length episode.
Right.
Like,
I mean, did you
watch
it in one go, or did you?
So we watched 2 episodes one night, and then 2 episodes another night, and I think
that's the best way to do it.
In fact, no, we watched this last 2 episodes over 2 nights, so we split them into 25 minutes, which I think was fine, like, because we were very excited. The reason we watched, because we were like, the first one, we were like, oh my God, there's a giant hand. So we had to watch the next one. And then the next one, we were like, oh, Drashigs. We should stop. But then the Doctor came out and we're like, oh, we should save that to tomorrow. Tiny Doctor.
That's nice. That's nice. It's good. It's good that you were it was good you were tempted enough.
And do you know, so obviously I wanted to watch it on the big telly, so I watched it with Rose, and she was like, well, but she enjoyed it as well. Like, I think we both got something out of it. It was clever, and we both saw beyond the limitations of the budget and the time it was made. And I think, ultimately the story was interesting. It was, it was quite broad in places. Like the politicking of the interminings was pretty surface.
Oh,
but that's fine, because it's 4 episodes and you can't get into like the lore of that planet. It's not exciting, but it got the point across, and it was like it didn't need to be anything more. Their scheme was very low rent. If that was enough to overthrow a president of a planet, fine. Again, no, it doesn't matter. In the moment, as part of the overall sort of,
it's funny, isn't it? It's funny when on the scale, like, Doctor Who is trying to tell maybe a planet-wide story in a very, very, very localized setting.
In a tiny studio with 3 men.
But then
Well,
also, I guess
women.
when it's done well, it's a sort of real reminder that the biggest
Absolutely.
decisions in the world are made in a room, you know?
And I wouldn't say this was done well, but it wasn't done badly, you know?
Yeah,
And I think it got the point across. And I think, again, it's sort of the juxtaposition of the two sort of plots came together nicely. I liked it when everything kicked off. I loved the Drashig screaming. I loved Vorg and Shauna's costumes. I think the set just being not that exciting. I know you said you liked it and you liked the foreshortening. Fine. It was fine, but it really it looked. I mean, I guess it looked fantastical and compared to the boat, which looked like a boat because it was a boat. Honestly, it was good. I mean, frankly, you said there earlier you might suggest some, and maybe this won't make the edit, but you had said that you would suggest some Tom Baker episodes. I would watch some Tom Baker episodes.
Okay.
I liked it, and the thing is, like 25-minute episodes every now and then, absolutely fine. That's a small commitment over a few nights.
It's nice. The 25-minute episodes are good if you've got a wee space in your day that you need to fill with something. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's nice if I'm work I'll go through phases where I'll get up in the morning, make a cup of tea,
and
do an episode from a serial. It's with my cereal.
I was going to say that. Do you know, though, I think you're absolutely right, because obviously I'm saying it could all be done in like a modern length episode, but then I'd have been like, do we have time to watch this? Whereas 25 minutes, you're just like, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
But you can't tell a whole story in that. But you could maybe tell it in like 2 or 3. I don't know. And am I right in thinking that some of these serials last for 6 episodes?
Oh, occasionally there'll be a 6. In the early days, there was like 10.
I mean, they must have had much stronger ideas that merited that length of time.
But it's always because I'm always like, a big thing I'm always banging on about is like, don't treat classic Doctor Who like a film. You're not watching a film. You're watching a
serialized TV program.
You're watching a TV show that you would be watching week after week after week.
No, absolutely, and I think like that is definitely worth pointing out, because you couldn't binge it. You wouldn't binge it, and
sometimes it gets you.
You
though.
Shouldn't binge it.
Sometimes it gets you. Sometimes you're like, I'm not going to do this, and then you're like, oh, I'm 7 episodes deep.
Well, I mean,
that's just me.
If that ever happens to me, I'll definitely tell you.
But I'm a big fan. If you want to explore Pertwee further, I would recommend his first season, because it's which is season 7. Great, and also you'll remember the first episode of season 7 will be the one that you've seen.
Nice.
Which is good.
I mean, I don't know if I'll definitely check some more out, frankly, because it was good. I mean, I've still got no interest in going back to those grumpy old men. But maybe I should. Maybe William Hartnell and Patrick.
They will surprise you. Hartnell especially will surprise you, because you do get this idea of Hartnell as like grumpy, and he is grumpy, but he's got a mischievous streak in him that's quite a lot of fun.
Does he have twinkly eyes?
Yeah, he does have good eyes, actually, yeah. And Troughton is more like, I feel like Troughton was the model for Matt Smith for sure.
Yeah, the recorder, right?
Yeah. A lot of his episodes are missing.
Wow.
But
that's mad. That's mad in itself. But no, thank you very much. Sorry for talking so long, and I don't know. Hopefully, you'll have something workable from that. I don't know.
Well, I hope you get something out of that. Anyway, it was very good, Michael. Thank you very much for coming along, and
thank you for having me, Richie.
It's always the same. I know that my what's the word? My podcast intuition is still sharp enough to get someone good on, so that's good. But no, I really appreciate you coming on, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch Doctor Who. And I appreciate you coming on. One last question: do you hate Doctor
Who? No, but I never hated it to begin with. Okay. Do I like? I think the question is more:
do you like it?
Do you think that you like older Doctor Who more than you thought that you liked older Doctor Who before you did this, which is less snappy. But yes, I do.
Good.
I do think that I like old Doctor Who more than I thought I liked old Doctor Who before I did this.
My big rebrand of the podcast of
Yeah.
I don't hate Doctor Who, but I don't really watch it. But I've seen a fair bit of it, but I'm not that fussed about it.
I think maybe I could like it if I gave it a chance, but do I want to give it a chance? I'm not sure. I know. I think I didn't hate it before, but equally I still don't love it. But I have more of an appreciation for the craft of even the older stuff. And, I think like it would be mad of me to have assumed that I would hate it. I just was reluctant to invest any time in it, but you have shown me the error of my ways, Richie. I appreciate that.
Okay. Right. Well, let's
kind wizard of a man with kind twinkling eyes. Are you wearing a Rush t-shirt?
I am.
You like Rush?
Do I like Rush?
I mean, you're wearing a Rush t-shirt.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Rush fan, yeah.
I've never really listened to them. Canadian prog rock, right? This is not part of the podcast, obviously, but I'm just curious. Would you recommend I listen to Rush next?
It's for my I Hate Rush podcast. I don't know. I mean, I love Rush, so I'd be like, yeah, listen to Rush. But also, I know that some of the things that I like are not much enjoyed by a lot of other people.
What about the voice?
I mean,
of
I say that
Geddy Lee?
Rush is like one of the biggest bands in the world.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, you found it very American/Canadian when you said Rush is.
Rush R. Sorry.
But no, thank you again for having me on. It was lovely to chat to you as well.
Yeah, it was nice to hang out. Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone for listening. I'm forgetting there's other people here. Thanks everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoyed your time with Michael Craig. Say goodbye, Michael Craig.
Goodbye, Michael Craig. Bye everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye everyone.
And just a reminder to viewers that the question to answer was, what was the name of the rat that Michael Jackson sang about?